Ryan Tannehill. In his 2010s career, he's been one of the most underrated quarterbacks, overlooked, and understood quarterbacks in our generation. Being the face of the Dolphins franchise for over 5 years and being visualized as an injury-prone quarterback who actually wasn't very injury-prone until late in his career when the team around him started collapsing. After 3 mediocre years at Texas A&M, he was drafted in 8th overall in the 2012 draft. In his rookie year, starting all 16 games, only finishing in 14, but he went at a 7-7 record, completing 58.3% of his passes and throwing 3,299 yards with 12 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. In 2013, he would again start all 16 games, going in an 8-8 record, completing a career high at the time in only his second year, 60.4% with almost 4,000 yards at 3,913, 24 touchdowns, which doubled his rookie year, and 17 interceptions. Once again in 2014, he would continue to grow, but his team won it. In 2014, he would start all 16 games again for a third straight season, the first time a Dolphins quarterback would start or have 3 consecutive 16-game seasons since Dan Marino. In 2014, he would complete 66.4% of his passes, throwing for over 4,000 yards with 27 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And he had 3 game-winning drives, and all 8 of his wins were all Dolphins took the lead for the first time in the fourth quarter. So in that season, in all those 8 wins, they never had a lead outside the fourth quarter. In all 8 of his losses, they've had at least an 8-point differential while leading in the first half. In 2015, it would start to go downhill. Once again, he would start all 16 games, which was 4th consecutive. Only one other player in Dolphins history would start all 16 games in his first 4 seasons of his career. Once again, Dan Marino. Only going 6-10 and having a 61.9 completion percentage, but having a career high in passing yards with 4,208, with 24 touchdowns and once again 12 interceptions, which he would have 3 straight seasons of 12 interceptions. In 2016, his team would play a lot better with a better supporting cast, having a career high in completion percentage, but only 13 games played, going 8-5 in those starts, throwing for 2,995 yards, 19 touchdowns, but once again, 12 interceptions. At the end of that season, he had a partial tear in his ACL that would require surgery. And in the offseason, recovering from that injury, he would again completely tear his ACL injury, which would keep him out all of 2017, that's where he gets the conception of that he's injury prone. And then again in 2018, he would start off the season very well, but only playing 11 games, as he would go 5-6 in those games, completing 64.2% of his passes, under 2,000 yards in over half of a season, with 17 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and missing the last 6 games of the season, or 5 games of the season, with a shoulder injury. That was an AC joint, which is what Dak Prescott is playing through now. And with the midst of a bad 2018 offseason, he was traded to the Tennessee Titans for a handful of late-round picks. And after a very bad start to the season for Marcus Mariota, in Week 6, he'll be pulled from the starting lineup. The last 10 games of the season, Ryan Tannehill would be the Tennessee Titans starter, and he would tremendously excel, going 7-3 in his starts, completing 70.3% of his passes, being 4th in the league this year, throwing for 2,742 yards with 22 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. If you pull that into consideration, if you were to start all 16 games, it would be 4,118 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions per 36-minute stat-based, just like it would be in the NBA. So other than that, he's never made a Pro Bowl in his life. Only a couple of playoff appearances, but never be able to win one. And a team that has never been able to help him out, and an organization that couldn't help him out. With his best receiver in all of the years has been Devontae Parker, and he hasn't been very good until this year. Without a good running game, trying guys like Frank Gore and other guys like Kenyon Drake, who were a late-round pick, who are now exceeding with the Cardinals, and a lackluster defense that hasn't had much of success. Their best defensive player in the decade being Xavier Howard, who is now under arrest and may face a suspension in 2020. Ryan Tannehill will be a free agent this upcoming season, and the Titans have shown interest of making him their franchise quarterback. In the midst of his career, he's been very good and very underrated, like we've previously mentioned. In his career in the Tennessee Titans, he has the opportunity to show himself this wild card weekend against New England Patriots. And I believe that the Tennessee Titans will keep him for another year or 2 and possibly their franchise guy and take the division next year from the Houston Texans, who I honestly think are overrated with Deshaun Watson. Ryan Tannehill, who hasn't had a good supporting cast his entire career, finally has one. And is able to go 7-3, having a tough schedule, and almost beating the New Orleans Saints. And it's a tough season for him because he is a free agent, like we previously mentioned. He could be looking to market from $10 to $15 million, and honestly, he should just say, "Hey, I'll take $8 million. I want to be in Tennessee." With the possible exception that the Tennessee Titans were going to draft a quarterback because before Ryan Tannehill took as a starter, they were a really bad team with a top 5 draft pick. There was rumors that they were going to tank with Tannehill and get a top 5 pick and select Justin Herbert to be their franchise, or guys like Jake Fromm. Instead, he went on a 7-3 record and hasn't missed spot in the playoffs. And now are reconsidering their quarterback situation with probably going to release or trade Marcus Mariota, who is a free agent, but they could release his rights, or do a sign and trade, or draft a guy late in the draft, or maybe even second round, because there is no real holes on this team. The real problem in the past 5 years of this Tennessee Titans team has been coaching, which was fixed with Mike Vrabel, and the quarterback play, which is horrible by Marcus Mariota. And now the situation with the Tennessee Titans, who is a small-town organization and franchise with a small market, now is a quarterback who can lead them to the postseason. And if he can start to do that consistently, he may revive himself from the bust label that he had as the 8th pick with the Miami Dolphins. And people hate on Ryan Tannehill too much. In the 2010s, he has been the best player on that Miami Dolphins team. And when he is not on the field, which wasn't until 17 and 18, he's outdid expectations. People hate on him thinking that he was an injury-prone QB, but he wasn't injury-prone until late in his career. Last 2 minutes are just going to be highlights of his career with the Tennessee Titans. Enjoy. I won't be here the last 2 minutes. Thank you.